Now let me pick up where I left off yesterday. I perused the bodies on the ground after the battle, and I realized they were all wearing rings on their fingers. Nazi rings, of course. I knew at once what Hitler had done. I pressed the buttons on the ring and laser beams shot out of it. It was fucking ridiculous. Hitler was breeding a group of African laser-wielding Nazi savages. It was worse than I expected. He was planning to take over the world. I had to get back to Britain and tell the Queen. Now, after making that terrifying discovery, I realized I needed a bit of a stiff drink. I looked for a nearby bar to see if I could rustle myself up a scotch on the rocks. I looked around and I couldn't see a fucking bar in sight, and I wondered what sort of establishment this was. They appeared to just be sitting in tents, the bastards. Maybe they were on a family camping trip and civilization must be close. I had to check the tents myself. I looked in one, and I was shocked at what I saw. In one of the tents, I saw a small African child, huddled up in a corner and weeping. The poor bastard, he must have been terrified. And in that moment, I felt entirely sorry for the child. I told him I'd drop him at his local school first thing tomorrow morning and give him a new video game to shut him up. It didn't seem to work. Maybe he's one of those children who doesn't play video games. Maybe he likes modern art, so I told him I'd take him to the local gallery. There must be one nearby. I tried to sneak out the back of the tent without the boy realizing, but he saw me and walked towards me as if he wanted something from me. I couldn't figure out what. I offered him a glass of cola. I figured he'd politely refuse. We're strangers after all, but it turns out he's quite parched. I figured at that moment maybe this boy could be of use. Maybe he has a penny farthing round the back and a couple of shillings to get us into the local town. I decided to take him along with me, and we looked at Hitler together for the next 7 months, and we became like family. I became closer with this boy than I've ever been with another human being. I raised him like the son I wish I still had. You see, I shot my son in the chest when he was 7 because I assumed he was a spy on his 7th birthday. Also, that my son wouldn't shut up about chicken nuggets. He was extremely needy. I couldn't stand for it. Should be a man who's boy, you're 7 now. This boy was something else entirely. He was strong. I told him tales of Britain and he'd hit me on the head with a stick by the campfire. Now, me and this boy couldn't communicate in the traditional fashion, seeing as he couldn't speak a word of English for some strange reason. But that wasn't to bother me. I didn't speak a word of English until I was 25 anyway, so it was no worries. You see, when I was growing up, I couldn't understand what the other kids were saying. I couldn't understand the garbage coming out of their mouths and why they were opening and closing them and making weird sounds at each other. If I wanted to talk to someone, I'd grab a man by the shoulders and stare deeply into his eyes, and he'd know what I wanted from him.